Alright. Which one of you developers let this slip by? Because this is absolutely crazy. The amount of things that I've seen in this game, nothing absolutely compares to how broken this weapon and build truly is. As you will see in the background gameplay, I am absolutely obliterating players with just a single tap of this crossbow. And it's not exactly just players. This weapon will even melt bosses like they're nothing too. You will beat bosses so bad that even this last bringer of silence will stay underground and never come out because he just watched you slaughtered his brothers in mere seconds.
Get your ass back here!
So if you want players and bosses to fear you, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you will never miss out on any future builds and updates related to Lords of the Fallen. Anyways, so clearly we can all tell this build is insanely busted and needs to be nerfed ASAP. So what a better way than to point it out so everyone can abuse it for a week before the damage becomes nerfed into the ground. So for those of you who want to run the game on easy mode, let's get straight into this build. Starting off, there's two main ingredients to this build, the crossbow itself and then the ammo type you want to use. Sure, you can use any ammo type and there's going to be some that do better than others, but this one is specifically more broken than the rest. The crossbow in question is called Harrower Dervla's crossbow, which is dropped by, yup, you guessed it, Harrower Dervla, which I will be easily killing in the background, no problem. But what makes this crossbow so crazy is that it actually shoots 3 arrows back to back to back with just a single pull of the trigger. This is basically just like the Avalon crossbow from the Dark Souls games, and it's just as powerful, if not even more powerful and more busted than that one is. Having 3 shots alone is crazy, but what makes this even more broken is what I was talking about earlier with the ammo type, which is actually going to be the twisted bolts. For some reason, the twisted bolts are beyond busted. For me, they're doing around 1018 extra damage. On top of the insanely high damage, they also have AoE to them, so you can clear large mobs of enemies in a millisecond. And since they're AoE, when it comes to PvP, you don't even have to hit the player directly. If they're like running sideways or something like that, you're able to just aim the weapon and shoot it in front of them and just tickle their toes with the AoE until they're dead. Luckily for everyone out there is that this build is not too demanding whenever it comes to your stats. The main thing that you're going to need is actually agility, as this weapon has an A scaling in that. So just bump that up to however high you want. The rest of your stats, throw into whatever the hell you want, honestly. Like, you don't need to have a perfect build for this. I'm definitely not running one that's super suited for it, and you see what I'm doing. Alright, so let's get into some of the other necessities for this disgusting one-shot build. Starting off with the pendant, you need the Inner Serpent pendant, which makes it so anytime you dodge, it will automatically reload your crossbow, so you don't need to go through that gross slow animation of reloading. Essentially, this pendant turns your crossbow into rapid fire since you just shoot, dodge, shoot, dodge, shoot, dodge. I'm not sure if there's a pendant that gives more range damage, because if there is, I haven't found it yet. But anyways, even if there is, I don't think it would even be worth using with how stupidly broken this pendant makes this weapon, because it's literally just a rapid fire pendant. The rings you need to run are the Crossbowman's ring, which makes your crossbow bolts cost less ammo, which will basically give you an extra fire before running out, which essentially is 3 extra bolts before needing to use another ammo pouch. And the other ring you're going to need is the Black Feather Ranger ring. This ring just makes it so you deal additional damage with bows and crossbows. Alternatively, if you're in New Game Plus or have a friend with that extra ring, you can be running 2 of the Black Feather Ranger rings, as all rings do in fact stack, so you can get out them huge damage numbers. Armor doesn't really matter, as you can tell. I'm just running some crummy little light armor, not for defense, but just for the fashion, because the chances of dying with this weapon is 0%. I literally have not died with this weapon the entire time of recording this. That's how sad this weapon truly is to use. As for your main weapons, they don't matter too much, as you just want to be dual wielding for the rune sockets, but there is a specific socket that you need, which in fact the Melted Dark Crusader sword actually has all 3 of these sockets that you may need for the runes, which are called the Aelstrix runes. These runes make it so you deal more damage with ranged weapons and throwable weapons. Now I only have 2 of the Elstrix runes, so just put them in each of my little daggers because I value fashion over the overkill aspect. But as you can tell, even without 6 of those runes, I am still insta-killing everyone and everything, so they are not super necessary. And that's going to do it for the entire build you need just to massacre the whole game. Do be ready for players to instantly disconnect whenever they see you start using this, because I know I sure as hell will. I know this will inevitably become stupidly popular since we all know how our new age Souls and Elden Ring players are. Exploit anything at any cost to win. So this is in hopes that the devs nerf this before it gets too out of hand. I will say, if you plan on using this, at least use it for like New Game Plus, and you can easily just run through that game insta-killing all the bosses, and try and avoid using in PvP, as clearly this isn't really fun for anyone. I know the hosts aren't having a fun time being invaded already, let alone being one-shot by something that's nearly unavoidable. You definitely won't be catching me using this again. It's hopefully going to be nerfed into the ground soon, and I've noticed most of the throwing weapons are kind of outrageous in general, so I'm kind of curious if they're going to reflect on all the ranged weapons, or maybe just this crossbow. We need to see. Anyways, that's going to do it from me, everyone. What do you think about this? Are you going to abuse this while you still can, or would you rather just keep your game normal for the time being and wait for it to be patched before messing with it so it doesn't ruin your experience? But I'm heading out now, everyone. Thank you so much for watching, and enjoy the rest of these PvP clips. Then have a good one. Peace.